Microsoft's E3 2017 presser has concluded, and what a show it was. I mean, depending on who you were, it was either an excruciating wait for Anthem, a bunch of stuff you didn't particularly like, intermixed with stuff you did, a lot of games not releasing in 2017, or a kind of mix of everything. Then again, there were some genuinely surprising things at the conference, so let's take a look at 12 of them here. Xbox One X. Microsoft finally unveiled Project Scorpio and named it the Xbox One X. Yes, they seriously went there. They went for what's essentially hug, kiss, hug in short form. Thankfully, despite the relatively boxy structure, the Xbox One X is still pretty sleek. It's also the smallest Xbox ever made, even smaller than the Xbox One S. Releasing on November 7th, it was confirmed that all accessories and games work on it. Even better, Xbox 360 titles will see better load times, anisotropic filtering, and other visual improvements. Like the PS4 Pro, Xbox One X will also offer improved visuals via super sampling for all Xbox One titles on 1080p displays. If you must have your favorite titles in 4K though, then there will be free 4K updates for Gears of War 4, Forza Horizon 3, Minecraft, Halo Wars 2, and so on. Third-party titles like Ghost Recon Wildlands, Resident Evil 7, and Final Fantasy 15 will also be getting in on the mix, each taking on the moniker of Enhanced. Finally, Microsoft announced that it would retail for $499. There are mixed reactions to this though. One side feels that not enough games were showcased to justify the power, though Anthem did turn some heads, while others think it's a decent price given how much more powerful it is over the PS4 Pro. Either way, Microsoft did an adequate job showcasing its biggest names running on the system. Xbox backwards compatibility. I get all those numbers, statements, reports, etc. about the popularity of Xbox 360 backwards compatibility on the Xbox One. I'm aware that Xbox backwards compatibility was requested by people, but it's actually being implemented. Maybe it didn't take all that many resources, but it was certainly a surprise to see Microsoft catering to fans with this. Xbox backwards compatibility is slated for launch later this year. Forza Motorsport 7. Forza Motorsport is back and looks better than ever, which is a very impressive feat given how excellent its predecessor, Forza Horizon 3, looked. Along with announcing Porsche and a 6-year deal to include the company's cars in Forza, not to mention way too much time spent showcasing an actual Porsche car, and no, I couldn't be bothered to remember what it is, Turn 10 confirmed that the game would run at native 4K and 60 FPS with HDR on Xbox One X. Oh, and it has some 700 cars. For comparison's sake, Forza Motorsport 6 had 450 cars. Forza 7 is out on October 3rd. Metro Exodus. Oh look, 4A Studios has been pretty busy working on a new Metro game. What's that? Artyom returns and is venturing out on the surface in the open air without his oxygen mask? What the? Metro Exodus is based off of the Metro 2033 and Metro 2035 books with its signature atmosphere, mutated creatures, and what seems to be a non-linear approach to gameplay. But the sheer level of detail, which is a trademark of the series, make no mistake, was simply incredible. It remains to be seen just how open world the gameplay actually is, but at this point, the gunplay looks solid, the graphics are amazing, and I personally can't wait to see where the story goes. Sadly, it's out in 2018. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Speaking of gorgeous visuals, Ori and the Will of the Wisps was confirmed. Did you think the concept art and stills look good? Because the actual game in motion looks bloody amazing. Ori and the Blind Forest remains one of the most aesthetically pleasing and well-crafted games of all time. Ori and the Will of the Wisps easily surpasses that. While we don't really know how the gameplay has evolved, the signature melancholy that dictated the previous game's premise is still here. Also, Microsoft failed to confirm a release date. Is it even coming in 2018? Who knows? Did we get dates for anything except Microsoft's first-party titles? Cuphead's release date. Yes we did. Do you believe in miracles? Because Studio MDHR's Cuphead, after years of delays, is finally releasing on September 29th. It will be heading to Xbox One and PC, bringing the long-awaited 1930s cartoon combat and platforming to players at last. Cuphead first caught our attention with its Steamboat Willie-esque art style. Since then, the development team has been steadily building on it, making the game tougher, throwing in co-op, and just piling on content. Whether it jives with you or not, Cuphead finally has a release date. Could the day get any better? Life is Strange Before the Storm. You probably think Life is Strange is overrated, but I don't care. A new Life is Strange title was showcased at Microsoft's presser, titled Before the Storm, and takes place before the events of the main game. Chloe Price is the focus here, and we see her transformation from your average girl who would lose her father to a rebellious teen mixed up in trouble. That is, before she meets Rachel, and things only get worse from there. Where's the series' signature time travel? That's where things get intriguing because we don't know. The first episode is due on August 31st with 3 episodes in total confirmed. We know how this all ends up, but honestly, being able to revisit and spend time with Chloe, find out more about Rachel, and maybe even learn more about this whole time-traveling business has me excited. Sure, Don't Nod isn't at the helm, Deck 9 is actually developing it, but I'll be happy in my own world and be skeptical later. Crackdown 3. Quick question, how do you start off a trailer for a game that's about destruction, explosions, and things that go boom? Why, with Terry Crews, of course. The man who might be Doomfist hyped up the open-world action shooter in a mix of live action and CG. The actual gameplay then took over and wasn't quite as impressive. Then again, taken on its own, the 4-player co-op looks fun and you'll have access to enhanced movement, an array of objects to smack enemies with, and cars to throw around. And of course, there are the explosions and real-time destruction dictating the chaos. The good news is that Crackdown 3 will be out on November 7th, the same as the Xbox One X, so if Agents of Mayhem sucks, this looks to be a solid alternative. Assassin's Creed Origins. In an interesting twist, Ubisoft chose to reveal the first gameplay for Assassin's Creed Origins at Microsoft's presser. Visually, the game looks pretty good, as pretty much all the leaks, the protagonist's name, the ancient Egypt setting, the origin story, the eagle used for spotting things, and so on were confirmed. As for the actual game, well, it's Assassin's Creed, with a few tweaks. The actual movement mechanics appear largely the same. The ability to move in slow-mo while aiming your bow in midair is cool, as is the ability to mark enemies from high up with your eagle. Combat didn't exactly blow me away since it seemed less like the free-form combat that was rumored and more about hacking, slashing, sidestepping, and parrying. It wasn't bad overall, but we definitely need to see a lot more of the open world, narrative, and combat. And hey, at least it has a giant snake in it that has to count for something. Assassin's Creed Origins is out on October 27th. State of Decay 2. If you like State of Decay, then State of Decay 2 may have looked extremely familiar, but in a good way. The gameplay that premiered showcased an intriguing mix of the new 4-player co-op and the signature mechanics of roaming the open world, battling zombies, and rescuing survivors. Everything in State of Decay 2, for the better, looks to possess a larger scale. Several aspects like the visuals and animation were polished up significantly. Moral decisions like choosing to save or kill survivors who have been infected, and brutal death animations seem to be present. Overall, not a bad exclusive for Microsoft to have, but it's out in spring 2018. Thanks, Microsoft, sarcasm intended. Minecraft and Crossplay. This year is looking pretty good for Minecraft fans. It will support crossplay on VR devices, mobiles, handhelds, and consoles, presumably the Nintendo Switch and Xbox One family, since those were showcased. So we're guessing Sony still aren't playing ball with PlayStation supporting crossplay with Xbox. Regardless, this is probably the first major AAA title to support crossplay across so many platforms. But that's not all. Community members will have a new marketplace to sell maps and items they've created. To be honest, we're not sure how that will work with the free mods currently about, but it's still interesting. Along with a 4K update in fall 2017, Minecraft will also see a huge graphics update, bringing the game more in line with the times. Anthem. Naturally, Microsoft saved the very best for the end of this honestly tiring and long E3 presser. BioWare's Anthem took the stage, and we got our very first look at the gameplay. Forget about the similarities with Destiny and its wall, the world of Anthem is completely different. The walkthrough showcased the player character walking through a crowded marketplace teeming with individuals before taking on a mission. From there, they moved to their collection of exosuits called Javelins, rocketing down to the planet's surface on a rescue mission. The movement looked excellent, utilizing fast-moving jetpacks that made clearing the breathtaking world a breeze. Anthem seems like The Division in that you can play solo, but it will be possible to group up with other players and their Javelins for activities. Combat looked to be a mix of third-person shooting and ability usage. The more straightforward class relied on the shooting, while the heavier Javelin plowed its way through hostile creatures, slamming the ground and creating shockwaves. Overall, Anthem looks incredibly compelling and definitely something worthy of BioWare Edmonton's reputation. However, I'm going to nitpick because why not? While the exploration aspects were cool, I'm wondering about the dynamic and emergent gameplay. How many unique side missions will there be? What will be the narrative behind the more intricate subquests? I also noticed the player character having 3 abilities equipped, a particularly annoying gripe with Mass Effect Andromeda. Still, it may be a small price to pay to have your own collection of exosuits that could fire guided missiles. For everything else, we simply need to wait for more details. Suffice to say, fall 2018 can't come soon enough. That'll be it for this video. If you like what we're doing, please go ahead and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.